Hey there! Today we're plunging into the wild heart of the Serengeti, a place where the sun burns, the dust chokes, and every heartbeat is a gamble with survival. Picture a land so vast it swallows the horizon, where the grass hums with life, and death plays out in real time. We're not here for a safari with binoculars and a comfy jeep. No, we're diving into the raw, unfiltered reality of Africa's greatest wilderness. What would it be like to live just one day in the Serengeti, not as a tourist, but as one of its creatures, fighting tooth and claw to see another sunrise? Spoiler, it's not exactly a walk in the park. So, before we get lost in the savannah, take a second to like this video and subscribe, but only if you're vibing with this journey. And drop a comment below, where are you tuning in from, and what time is it? It's wild to think we're all connected, from Tokyo at midnight to Texas at noon, sharing this story of a place that doesn't care about clocks. Now, dim the lights, maybe crack a window for that warm breeze vibe, and let's step into the Serengeti together. Welcome to the Serengeti, a sprawling 12,000 square miles of grassland, acacia trees, and rivers that carve through Tanzania and Kenya like veins. It's dawn, and the sky is bleeding orange, the air already thick with heat that'll hit 90 degrees Fahrenheit by noon. The ground vibrates with the low grunts of a million hooves, the sharp barks of zebras, and the distant roar of a lion, reminding everyone who's boss. This isn't a petting zoo. This is a battlefield where survival is the only prize, and every creature, from the tiniest antelope to the biggest cat, is playing for keeps. Let's start with you as a wildebeest, one of 1.5 million in the Great Migration, the Serengeti's annual marathon of life and death. You're not the star of this show, but you're the engine. Without wildebeests, the whole ecosystem stalls. Picture this: you're shouldered shoulder in a herd, stretching farther than your dusty eyes can see, your hooves pounding the earth into a cloud that stings your lungs. The herd's moving, always moving, chasing the rains that bring fresh grass. Your stomach's growling, but stopping isn't an option. Why? Because the Mara River lies ahead, and it's not just water, it's a gauntlet. The river's wide, muddy, and churning like it's got a personal grudge. You smell it before you see it: wet earth, rotting plants, and something sharper: blood. Crocodiles, some as long as a pickup truck, lurk just below the surface, their eyes like periscopes, scanning for lunch. Your herd hesitates, snorting, shoving, but the pressure from behind is relentless. You're not thinking strategy, you're pure instinct. Then, one brave or desperate wildebeest leaps, and the stampede begins. You're in hooves, slipping on slick rocks, water splashing your face, the current tugging at your legs. It's chaos. A calf to your left screams as a croc's jaws snap shut, dragging it under. You keep moving, heart hammering, because stopping is death. You scramble up the far bank, shaking water from your shaggy beard, and realize you made it. But the herd's smaller now. The Mara takes its tax every year. Thousands don't cross. You don't mourn, there's no time. You graze, head down, ripping at the grass that's somehow sweeter on this side. But even now, you're not safe. Lions are watching from the tall grass, their amber eyes locked on stragglers. Hyenas cackle in the distance, already plotting their next move. This is your life. Eat, run, survive, repeat. No coffee breaks, no Netflix, just the relentless rhythm of the Serengeti. where every sunrise you see is a minor miracle. Let's talk numbers for a second, because the Great Migration is no small feat. Each year, 1.5 million wildebeests, alongside 200,000 zebras and 400,000 gazelles, travel 1,800 miles in a loop, following the rains from the Serengeti to Kenya's Maasai Mara and back. It's the largest land migration on Earth, a spectacle that's been happening for millennia. But it's not a leisurely road trip. Up to 250,000 wildebeests die annually. Crocs, lions, exhaustion, or just bad luck. And yet, the herd keeps moving, driven by some ancient GPS hardwired into their brains. Scientists still don't fully understand how they know where to go. Is it the smell of rain, magnetic fields, pure stubbornness? Whatever it is, it's kept the Serengeti's pulse beating since before humans invented fire. Now, you're probably thinking, sounds brutal, but at least I'm not a predator. Fair, but don't romanticize the wildebeest's life. Your diet's grass, sure, but it's tough, fibrous stuff that grinds your teeth to stubs by your teens. Parasites love you. Ticks burrow into your hide. Flies swarm your eyes. And the herd, it's not a cozy community. It's a mob, shoving and trampling. If you're too slow, your only defense is numbers. Predators can't kill you all, so you stick together, hoping someone else takes the hit. It's not noble, it's math. And yet, there's something awe-inspiring about it. You're not just a wildebeest. You're part of a living river, a force that shapes the land itself, fertilizing it with your dung, clearing paths for smaller critters, feeding predators who'd starve without you. Speaking of predators, let's shift gears. The sun's dipping low, painting the sky in purples and golds, and the Serengeti's night shift is waking up. You're no longer a wildebeest. Now you're a spotted hyena, and not just any hyena. You're the matriarch of a clan of 20, a queen in a world that doesn't bow easily. Forget everything you think you know about hyenas. They're not the cowardly scavengers of cartoon fame, skulking around for leftovers. Spotted hyenas are apex predators, smarter than most, with jaws that crush bone like it's popcorn. And in this clan, you're the boss, bigger, stronger, and fiercer than the males who cower at your bark. Your clan's gathered in a rocky outcrop, your den, where pups tumble over each other, yipping like they own the place. You're restless, pacing, your nose twitching at the scent of opportunity. The wildebeest herd nearby, grazing under the moonlight, and your clan's hungry. You lead the hunt, your spotted coat blending into the shadows. The Serengeti at night is a different beast. The air's cooler, but it hums with danger. Owls hoot, jackals yap, and somewhere a lion's roar makes your hackles rise. Lions are troubled. They'll steal your kill, or worse, attack your pups. But you're not scared. You've faced them before and walked away. Asterisk, you signal with a low whoop, a sound that carries for miles, eerie and unmistakable. Your clan falls in line, moving like a military unit. You're not sprinting, you're strategic, picking out a weak wildebeest, maybe one limping from the river crossing. Your clan spreads out, herding it away from the group. You're the heavy hitter, lunging for its flank, your teeth sinking into muscle. It's over fast, but the real work's just begun. You eat first, tearing into the warm meat, while your clan waits their turn. Hierarchies, strict mess with it, and you'll snap someone's ear off. Hyenas get a bad rap, but they're the Serengeti's cleanup crew. You'll eat everything meat, bones, even hoofs, leaving nothing for flies or disease to fester. Your stomach's a chemical factory, digesting stuff that'd make a vulture gag. And your clan, it's a sisterhood. Females rule, passing leadership to daughters, not sons. Males are drifters, useful but disposable. Scientists say hyenas are closer to cats than dogs, with brains rivaling primates for problem solving. You've been known to outsmart lions, stealing their kills with sheer audacity. Next time someone calls you a scavenger, la fear whoops louder than their ignorance. But life as a matriarch isn't all power and glory. Your clan's only as strong as its weakest pup, and raising them's a grind. You nurse for up to 18 months, longer than most mammals, and your milk's so rich it's practically a meal. But drought's coming, and the wildebeests are moving on. If the rains fail, prey gets scarce, and your clan will look to you for answers. You'll fight for every scrap, even if it means facing a lion pride. And those fights, they're not pretty. You've got scars to prove it, jagged tears across your flank from a lion's claw. A reminder that queens bleed, too. We're just scratching the surface of the Serengeti's story. The wildebeest showed us survival through sheer numbers, the hyena through brains and brawn. But there's more to this wilderness, creatures that defy gravity. Humans who've learned to live alongside the wild, and mysteries that even science can't crack. For now, take a breath. You've crossed a river and led a hunt. The Serengeti's not done with you yet. The Serengeti's night is in full swing now. The sky a blanket of stars, so bright it feels like you could reach out and grab one. The wildebeest herds settled into uneasy grazing, their snorts mingling with the rustle of grass. Hyenas whoop in the distance, their laughter slicing through the dark like a warning. But high above, something else is moving, silent, purposeful. A speck against the Milky Way. You're no longer earthbound, no longer tethered to the savanna's brutal rhythm. You're a white stork, and your story isn't about surviving the Serengeti's predators. It's about conquering the skies themselves. Picture this: you're soaring at 3,000 feet, wings spread wide, catching thermals that lift you like an invisible hand. The Serengeti sprawls below, a patchwork of gold and green, rivers glinting like silver threads. Your beaks pointed south, toward a destination thousands of miles away, a place you've never seen but know by instinct. You're part of a flock, hundreds of storks gliding in a loose V, each beat of your wings a calculated act of endurance. The air's thin up here, cold enough to frost your feathers, but you don't stop. You can't. You're on one of the planet's most insane road trips, 12,000-mile round trip from Europe to Africa and back. Let's rewind to where this started. Months ago, you were in a German village, nesting on a chimney, your red legs tucked under you as locals snapped photos. White storks are celebrities in Europe, symbols of luck, their nests dotting rooftops from Poland to Portugal. But summer faded, the air turned crisp, and something deep in your brain clicked. Time to go. You took off, joining millions of others, flying over mountains, deserts, and seas. You crossed the Sahara, a hellscape of sand where thermals are scarce and water's a myth. Now you're here, in the Serengeti, feasting on locusts and frogs, your black-tipped wings gleaming in the sun. But this isn't the end. It's just a pit stop. Flying 6,000 miles sounds bad enough. But here's the kicker. You'll do it again in reverse come spring. No GPS, no map, just a body built for the long haul. Your wings, nearly 7 feet across, are marvels of engineering, letting you glide for hours without flapping, burning minimal energy. Your heart's tiny but mighty, pumping fast to keep you aloft. Scientists track storks like you with satellite tags, marveling at your roots. One stork, nicknamed Princess, flew from Germany to South Africa, dodging storms and hunters, only to turn around and do it again. How? Nobody's cracked the code. Is it the stars? Earth's magnetic field? A genetic memory older than the pyramids? Whatever it is, it's humbling. You're out here navigating better than most humans with a smartphone. But don't get cocky. The Serengeti's no vacation spot for a stork. You land in a marsh, stabbing at insects with your dagger-like beak, but the ground's not as safe as the sky. A marabou stork, ugly as sin, with a throat sac like a deflated balloon, tries to muscle in on your meal. You clap your beak, a sharp clack that says, "Back off." Overhead, a fish eagle circles, its eyes locked on you. You're no pushover, 3 feet tall with a beak that can kill, but you're not built for brawls. Your strategy's simple. Eat fast, fly high, stay alive. And the threats don't stop at wildlife. Humans are a problem too. In some areas, farmers poison locusts, and you've seen flockmates drop dead after a bad meal. Power lines are another. Trap slicing through migration routes like invisible nets. The numbers are grim. Of the 500,000 white storks that migrate, thousands don't make it. Storms can knock you out of the sky. Exhaustion can ground you in a desert, and hunters in parts of the Middle East still take potshot. Your kind's been migrating for millennia, but the world's changing. Wetlands are drying up, cities are sprawling, and the climate's messing with the rains you rely on for food. In Europe, your numbers are down 20% since the 1980s. Are scrambling, building artificial nests, protecting marshes, but it's a race against time. Will you still have a Serengeti to return to in a decade? That's the mystery hanging over every flap of your wings. And yet, there's beauty in your journey. You're not just a bird. You're a bridge between continents, a living thread tying Europe's forests to Africa's plains. Farmers in the Serengeti look up and smile when they see you, calling you a sign of good rains. Kids in Germany wait for your return, believing you bring babies a myth. Sure, but it shows your pull on human hearts. Your migration's a story of grit, precision, and a kind of faith in the unknown. Every mile you fly is a bet that the world will still be there when you land. So you keep going, wings slicing the air, eyes fixed on a horizon only you can see. Let's ground ourselves for a moment, because the Serengeti isn't just about animals fighting to survive. Humans live here too, and they've been part of this ecosystem for thousands of years. You're no longer a stork soaring above it all. Now you're a Maasai herder, standing tall in a red shuka, a spear in one hand, a stick in the other, guiding your cattle across the savannah. The sun's climbing, baking the earth into a cracked mosaic, and your herd's lowing, kicking up dust that coats your skin. You're not just surviving the Serengeti, you're thriving in it. A master of a land that bows to no one. The Maasai are legends of the Serengeti, semi-nomadic pastoralists who've herded cattle here for centuries. Your life revolves around your cows, their food, wealth, status, everything. You know each one by its markings, its bellow, the way it flicks its tail. But herding in the Serengeti is like playing chess with lions as the opponent. Every day's a gamble. You move with the reins, seeking grass for your herd. But so do the wildebeests, and where they go, predators follow. A lion can take down a cow in seconds, and a single loss could mean starvation for your family. You're not just a herder, you're a guardian. Picture this. It's mid-morning, and you're leading your cattle to a watering hole. The air smells of dung and acacia. The horizon shimmers with heat. You scan the grass for movement, a twitch, a shadow, anything. Your eyes are sharp, trained since childhood to spot danger. A rustle to your right stops you cold. You grip your spear, heart steady but alert. It's just a warthog, snuffling through the dirt, but you don't relax. Lions don't announce themselves. You faced them before, alone or with other warriors, driving them off with shouts and spears. You've got scars on your arm, claw marks, from a fight you won, but barely. Asterisk, your knowledge of the Serengeti is encyclopedic. You read the land like a book. A bent blade of grass means elephants passed through. A certain bird call signals a leopard nearby. You know which plants heal wounds, which rivers stay sweet in the dry season. This isn't book learning, it's survival, passed down through generations of Maasai who've walked this land since before empires rose and fell. But it's not all instinct. You're strategic, planning grazing routes to avoid overusing the land, rotating pastures like a farmer rotates crops. You've seen what happens when outsiders ignore that balance. Dust bowls, dead herds, empty villages. Life's not easy, and modern times are complicating things. The Serengeti's a global treasure, a UNESCO site, crawling with tourists and rangers. Governments want your land for parks. Conservationists want it for wildlife, and you're caught in the middle. Your grazing routes are shrinking, and some of your brothers have traded spears for jobs as guides or guards. You get it, tourism brings money, but you miss the old freedom. Still, you adapt. You've started working with conservation groups, sharing your knowledge to protect lions and elephants while keeping your cattle safe. It's an uneasy truce, but it's survival. Maasai-style. Your bond with the Serengeti's wildlife is complex. You respect lions, calling them warriors, but you'll kill one that threatens your herd. You admire the wildebeest's strength, but curse their stampedes that trample your grazing grounds. You're not separate from this ecosystem, you're woven into it, a thread as vital as the stork or the hyena. And when you sing at night, your voice rising over the crackle of the fire, it's not just a song, it's a story of the land, the cattle, the wild, and your place in it all. The Serengeti's midday sun is a tyrant, scorching the earth until the air shimmers like a fever dream. Your Maasai herd trudges on, their bells clanking softly, a rhythm as steady as your own heartbeat. You're still a herder, spear in hand, eyes scanning the horizon for trouble. The wildebeest herds a distant blur, their migration kicking up dust that hangs like a curtain. Hyenas are quiet for now, but you know they're watching, waiting for night. Above, a white stork glides, a speck of grace in a sky that offers no mercy. This is your world, a place where every step is a negotiation with the wild. and you've learned to speak its language better than most. Let's zoom in on your life as a Maasai, because you're not just a bystander in the Serengeti's drama, you're a key player. Your red shuka flaps in the breeze, a bold splash of color against the gold grass. It's not just fashion, it's a signal, a way to stand out to your cattle and scare off curious lions. You're young, maybe 20, but already a warrior, trained to protect your herd and your enkang, the thorn-fenced village where your family waits. Your day started before dawn, milking cows, checking calves for ticks, and now you're miles from home, following grazing paths your father taught you, and his father before him. The Serengeti's not just land, to you it's family. Every hill has a name, every river a story. You know the acacia grove where your uncle killed a leopard, the rock where your sister got married. But this isn't a sentimental stroll. You're on high alert because the wild doesn't care about your history. A lion pride's been stalking, closer lately, drawn by the wildebeest migration. You've seen their tracks, fresh in the mud, claws as wide as your hand. Last week, they took a cow from a neighboring enkang, and the herders still nursing a broken arm from the fight. You're not afraid, fear's a luxury, but you're ready. Your spears tip glinting in the sun. Your cattle are your lifeblood, but they're also a magnet for trouble. They're skinny this season, the grass thinner than last year's. The rains were late, and the Serengeti's cruel when it's dry. You've had to push deeper into lion territory, where the grass is still green, but the risks are higher. You move deliberately, singing low to calm the herd, a song about warriors and storms. Your voice carries, and somewhere a jackal pauses, ears twitching. You're not just herding, you're balancing on a knife's edge, weighing hunger against danger, tradition against change. Let's talk about that change, because the Serengeti's not the untouched wilderness it seems. You've seen jeeps roaring through, tourists snapping photos of elephants while ignoring your herd. Conservation laws have carved up your grazing lands, fencing off chunks for national parks. You get the ideas. Save the lions, save the rhinos, but it stings when your cattle are blamed for overgrazing while tourist lodges sprout like weeds. Your people have lived here for centuries, rotating pastures, burning grass to spark new growth, keeping the land alive. Yet outsiders lecture you about sustainability like you haven't been doing it since Egypt built pyramids. Still, you're no relic. You've got a cell phone tucked in your shuka, solar charged at the incong. You text your cousin, a ranger, to check on lion sightings. You've joined a community patrol, working with conservationists to track predators and reduce conflicts. It's not perfect. Some Maasai resent the restrictions, but it's a start. You've learned to navigate two worlds, the ancient rhythms of the savannah and the modern push for coexistence. Your elders grumble, but you see the bigger picture. If the lions disappear, the Serengeti dies. If your cattle starve, your family does. Balance isn't a buzzword, it's survival. Your bond with wildlife is complicated, a mix of respect and rivalry. You call lions Aswan, warriors, and mimic their roars in initiation rites. But when one kills your cow, you don't hesitate her spears, not for show. Elephants are trickier. They're laser giants you avoid, because a charging bull can flatten your herd and you with it. You admire the wildebeest's endurance, but curse their stampedes that churn grazing grounds to mud, and the storks, their good omens. their arrival signaling rain. You've got a story for every creature, woven into songs and dances that light up the Inkong at night. Let's pull back for a second, because your life as a Maasai shows the Serengeti's bigger truth. It's a shared space, a web where every thread wildebeest, hyena, stork, human matter. The ecosystem's a marvel, supporting 70 mammal species and 500 bird species across its plains. But it's fragile. A single bad drought can crash wildebeest numbers, starving predators and scavengers. Poachings, a growing threat rhinos, are nearly gone, and elephants are dwindling. Climate change is messing with the rains, shrinking wetlands that storks need. And human pressures, from tourism to farming, are squeezing the land tighter every year. Yet the Serengeti endures, and so do you. Your people have faced smallpox, colonial land grabs, and modern borders, yet you're still here, herding, singing, adapting. You're not just surviving, you're shaping the future. Conservation groups now seek your knowledge, mapping migration routes with your input. You've helped design grazing plans that save grass for wildebeests while feeding your cattle. It's slow work, but it's real. Next time someone posts about the Serengeti on X, tagging it #WildAfrica, remember, you're the one keeping it wild. One cow, one spear, one step at a time. Now, let's circle back to the Serengeti itself, because this place is more than a backdrop, it's the star. Imagine you're no longer a single creature or a herder. You're the land, feeling every hoofbeat, every raindrop, every claw. Dawn breaks, and the wildebeests surge, their migration carving paths through your grass. Hyenas prowl your shadows, their jaws recycling death into life. Storks pierce your skies, stitching continents together. And the Maasai walk your spine, their cattle grazing your skin, their fires warming your nights. You're ancient, born millions of years ago when tectonic shifts birthed the Great Rift Valley. Your soils are rich with volcanic ash, feeding grasses that sustain the world's greatest herds. Your rivers, like the Mara, are lifelines, but they're also battlegrounds, where crocs and wildebeests clash in sprays of blood. Your home to the big five: lion, leopard, elephant, buffalo, rhino, but also to the small, the termites that build towers, the dung beetles that roll your waste into treasure. Every creature, from the cheetah sprinting at 60 miles an hour to the tortoise plodding at a snail's pace, has a role. But you're not invincible. Your rains are faltering, your grasses thinning. Humans fence your edges, their roads slicing through your heart. Poachers steal your rhinos, their horns worth more than gold. Tourists love you, but their lodges drain your water. Scientists say you're one of the last great wildernesses, but last is a warning. If the wildebeest migration stops, your predators starve. If the Maasai leave, your balance tips. If the storks vanish, your wetlands die. You've seen change before ice ages, floods, but this is faster, sharper. A human storm you can't outrun. Still, you fight. The Maasai guard you, their spears as fierce as any lion's claw. Conservationists plant trees, restore wetlands, track poachers with drones. Wildebeests keep running, hyenas keep hunting, storks keep flying. You're a symphony of survival, each note vital, each silence a threat. And when the sun sets, painting your plains in fire, you whisper a truth. Life here isn't easy, but it's worth it. Every scar, every struggle, every sunrise proves it. The Serengeti's dusk settles like a heavy curtain, the sky smoldering red as the heat finally loosens its grip. The wildebeest herds a restless mass, their hooves stirring dust that glows. In the fading light, hyenas cackle somewhere beyond the acacias, their voices sharp and mocking. A white stork wheels overhead, catching the last thermals before roosting. You're no longer a Maasai herder, nor a bird slicing the sky. Now, you're the Serengeti's undisputed Kinga lion, lord of the savannah, your amber eyes glowing with hunger and authority. But don't get too comfortable on that throne. In this wilderness, even kings bleed. Picture this. You're sprawled on a rocky kopje, a granite island rising from the grass. Your mane's thick, dark, a badge of strength that took years to grow. It's hot against your neck, but it's worth it. Females size you up by that mane, and rivals know to think twice. Your pride, 12 strong, lounges nearby, lionesses grooming, cubs, young males play fighting, their roars more bravado than threat. You're the patriarch, but this isn't a lazy monarchy. Your job's to protect, to fight, to ensure the pride eats. And right now, your stomach's rumbling, a low growl that matches the one in your throat. The wildebeest herds close, their scent drifting on the breeze musky, alive, tempting. You rise, muscles rippling under tawny fur, and let out a roar that shakes the air. It's not just a sound, it's a declaration, a seismic wave that says, "This is my land." The pride stirs, lionesses perking up, their eyes sharp. They're the hunters, not you. At 600 pounds, you're built for power, not speed. But you set the stage, patrolling the edges, keeping hyenas and rival lions at bay, while the females do their work. The hunt begins under a crescent moon, the grass whispering as the lionesses fan out. You watch, tail flicking, ready to charge if needed. They move like shadows, bellies low, using every dip and bush for cover. Their target's a wildebeest, a straggler limping from a river crossing. The lead lioness, your sister, locks on, her eyes like embers. They strike claws out, a blur of gold and dust. The wildebeest bolts, but it's too late. One lioness grabs its flank, another its throat. It's down in seconds, a 400-pound meal for the pride. You lumber over, claiming first bites, your jaws tearing through hide like it's paper. The cubs yip, impatient, but they wait. Rank matters. Lions kill with precision, but they're not invincible. This wildebeest will feed the pride for a day, maybe 2, but it's one of 50 they'll need this month. The Serengeti's feast or famine, and right now it's leaning toward famine. The dry season's stretching longer, grass is scarce, and prey's thinning out. You've seen cubs starve, their ribs stark under dull fur. You've lost a brother to a buffalo's horn, a sister to a poacher's snare. Every hunt's a risk, and you weaken, succeed, and you still might lose the kill. Enter the hyenas, your eternal rivals. You hear them before you see them, their whoops rising like a taunting chorus. A clan's circling, 15 strong, led by a matriarch whose scars match yours. They're bold, smelling blood, knowing your pride's spread thin. You stand, roaring, but they don't scatter. Hyenas aren't cowards, they outnumber you, and they know it. The lionesses growl, forming a wall around the carcass. But the hyenas dart in, snapping at cubs, testing your nerve. you charge, swiping with paws that can crush skulls. One hyena yelps, limping away, but the rest hold ground. It's a standoff, tense and ugly, until the matriarch whoops a retreat. They'll be back, though. They always are. This rivalry's not just personal, it's ecological. Lions and hyenas compete for the same prey, and in the Serengeti, there's rarely enough to go around. Studies show hyenas steal up to 20% of lion kills, but it goes both ways. You've swiped their carcasses too. It's a brutal dance, each side pushing the other to be sharper, faster, smarter. Scientists call it intra-guild predation. But you don't need jargon to know the truth. You and the hyenas are locked in a war that's older than the hills you stand on, and neither of you backs down easy. Being king comes with other headaches. Rival males, young nomads with no pride, prowl the edges of your territory. You smell their scent on the wind, fresh and threatening. A fight's coming, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. If you lose, you're out, exiled to a loner's life, or worse, dead. You've seen it happen, your father, torn and bleeding, driven off by a stronger male. Your mane's still dark, your teeth sharp, but you're not young anymore. Every roar's a gamble, every battle a roll of the dice, and the pride. They'll switch allegiance faster than you can say coup. Loyalties for suckers in the Serengeti. Let's talk numbers, because your life's a high-stakes game. Home to 3,000 lions, the largest population in Africa, but they're not thriving. Poaching, habitat loss, and human conflicts are chipping away. A pride needs 20 square miles to roam, but farms and tourist camps are crowding in. Cubs have a 50% chance of reaching adulthood disease, starvation, or hyenas take the rest. You've buried 3 this year, their tiny bodies left for vultures. It's not sentimental, it's math. But when you nuzzle a surviving cub, its purr vibrating against your chest, you feel something fierce, something worth fighting for. Your pride's not just a family, it's a fortress. The lionesses are your sisters, aunts, cousins, bound by blood and necessity. They hunt, nurse each other's cubs, defend the territory. You're the muscle, but they're the spine. Together, you hold 10 square miles, marked by your scent and roars that carry 5 miles. But holding it means constant vigilance. Leopards sneak through your edges, stealing kills. Buffalo, all 1,200 pounds of them, can trample a careless lioness. And humans, Maasai herders, to be exacter, a growing thorn. They respect you, call you warrior, but a cow killer's a dead lion in their eyes. Speaking of the Maasai, your paths cross more than you'd like. Last month, a young lioness from your pride took a calf, and the herders came with spears, their shouts echoing like thunder. You escaped, but she didn't. Her body's still out there, a warning to your pride. You don't hate the Maasai. They're part of the Serengeti, like you, but their cattle are tempting, and hunger doesn't negotiate. Some prides have learned to avoid humans, sticking to wildebeest and zebra. You're trying, but it's hard. When their herds graze your hunting grounds, the Serengeti's lion story is bigger than your pride. You're a symbol in flags, in stories, on every safari brochure. But symbols don't eat, and you're hungry. Conservationists track you with collars, their drones buzzing like giant flies. They mean well, protecting your kind from poachers and trophy hunters. But collars itch, and you'd rather not be a data point. Still, You've noticed fewer snares lately, more antelope in some areas. The humans are trying, and you're still here, roaring, ruling, surviving. Asterisk, the Serengeti's night has deepened. A velvet black, pierced by stars and the occasional flash of a firefly. The lion pride rests, their heavy breaths mingling with the rustle of grass. Wildebeests snort in the distance, their herd a dark tide under the moon. Hyenas whoop, plotting their next move, while a white stork roosts silently in a marsh, its journey paused. You're no longer the king, no longer bound by the weight of a mane or the demands of a pride. Now, you're something smaller, faster, a fleeting shadow in the savannah's grand theater. You're a cheetah, the Serengeti's sprinter, built for speed but living on the edge. Imagine this. You're crouched in the tall grass, your spotted coat a perfect camouflage, blending with the dappled light. Dawn's breaking, the air cool but warming fast, carrying the scent of Antelope Ponson's gazelles, your favorite. Your eyes, sharp as a hawk's, lock on a young one, grazing just 200 yards away. Your heart's racing, but your body's still, every muscle coiled like a spring. You're not bulky like a lion, not social like a hyena. At 120 pounds, you're lean, fragile even, with legs like pistons and a spine that bends like a bow. You're the fastest land animal alive, capable of hitting 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds. But speed's a gamble, and in the Serengeti, every sprint's a roll of the dice. You creep closer, belly brushing the earth, tail twitching for balance. The gazelle's head lifts, ears flicking. You freeze, breath shallow, praying the wind doesn't shift. One wrong move, and it's gone. Cheetahs don't chase for miles like hyenas, or overpower like lions. You've got one shot, a burst of speed that'll either feed you or leave you gasping. The gazelle relaxes, nibbling grass, and you seize the moment. You explode, legs blurring, the world a streak of gold and green. Your claws grip the dirt, your oversized lungs burn, sucking in air to fuel the fire. You're a missile, closing the gap in seconds. The gazelle bolts, zigzagging, but you mirror its turns, your tail steering like a rudder. You leap, claws hooking its flank, and bring it down, your teeth finding its throat. It's over fast, but you're not celebrating yet. You're panting, heart hammering, body overheating from that 20-second sprint. Cheetahs aren't built for endurance. You're a sprinter, not a marathoner. You drag the gazelle to shade, but trouble's already sniffing around. A vulture circles above its shadow, a bad omen. Hyenas are never far, and lions will steal your kill without a second thought. You eat fast, tearing into the warm meat, but your ears are pricked, eyes darting. Sure enough, a lioness appears, her growl low and final. You bolt, abandoning your meal. It stings, but fighting's not. Your game lions outweigh you 5-1, and hyenas come in packs. Survival means knowing when to run. This is your life. Speed, stealth, and sacrifice. You hunt alone, relying on daylight and open ground where your speed shines. But the Serengeti's not kind to loners. Only 50% of your kills stay yours. Scavengers take the rest. You need 10 pounds of meat a day, but hunting's a daily lottery. Miss too many times, and you weaken. Your cubs, hidden in a thicket, depend on you. They're vulnerable, easy prey for jackals or eagles. Only 1 in 5 will survive to adulthood, and you're nursing them alone, no pride to share the load. Your last litter was taken by a leopard, and the memory's a scar that doesn't fade. Let's talk numbers, because the cheetah's story is precarious. The Serengeti holds about 1,000 cheetahs, but their numbers are dropping. Habitat loss, competition, and low genetic diversity. Cheetahs are so inbred, they're practically survival tough. Your sprint's a marvel, powered by oversized adrenal glands and a heart twice the size of a lion's relative to your body. But it comes at a cost. A single chase can spike your temperature to dangerous levels, and you need 30 minutes to recover, time you often don't have. Scientists marvel at your design, calling you a living Ferrari. But even Ferraris break down in the Serengetis. Grind. Now, let's shift to another player, one less glamorous, but just as vital. You're no longer a cheetah, dodging lions and chasing glory. You're a vulture, a white-backed vulture, to be exact, soaring 6,000 feet above the savannah. Your wings, 9 feet across, catch thermals, letting you glide for hours without a flap. From up here, the Serengeti's a map. Wildebeest herds like rivers, lion prides like scattered stones, a cheetah's fresh kill, a glowing opportunity. Your eyesight's unreal, spotting a carcass from 5 miles away, and your nose picks up the chemical ethyl mercaptan, the stench of death, like a neon sign. You're not pretty bald head, wrinkled neck, feathers like a tattered coat butt. Beauty's not your job. You're the cleanup crew. You spiral down, joining a dozen other vultures, already tearing into the cheetah's abandoned gazelle. Your beak's sharp, built for ripping hide, not killing. You plunge into the carcass, blood smearing your face, jostling with cousins lappet-faced vultures, bigger and meaner. It's a frenzy, but there's order. You eat the soft bits, they take the tough stuff. In 20 minutes, the gazelle's gone, bones picked clean. You've eaten a pound, enough to last a few days. Without you, carcasses would rot, spreading disease. You're not just eating, you're saving the Serengeti from itself. Vultures get no love, but they're keystone species. The Serengeti's 10,000 vultures recycle 70% of its carrion, keeping the ecosystem healthy. But you're in trouble. Poisoned carcasses, meant for lions, kill hundreds of you each year. Power lines and wind turbines are death traps. Your numbers are down 90% in some areas, and scientists call you critically endangered. You don't care about labels, but you feel the pinch. Fewer carcasses, more competition. A bad year could wipe out your flock, and the Serengeti would choke on its own dead. Now, let's get even smaller. You're no longer a vulture, riding the skies. You're a dung beetle, a scarab, rolling a ball of wildebeest dung twice. Your size, it's dawn, and the savannas littered with fresh piles, a buffet for you and your kind. Your shiny black shell glints as you push, legs churning, navigating by the sun's angle. This isn't just food, it's your future. You'll bury this ball, lay your eggs inside, and your larvae will feed on it. You're not glamorous, but you're essential. Recycling nutrients, aerating soil, feeding plants that wildebeests graze. Your life's a hustle. Other beetles want your dung, and birds, like oxpeckers, will snatch it if you're slow. You roll fast, covering yards in minutes, dodging hooves and heat. The Serengeti's got 1 million dung beetles, moving tons of manure daily. Without you, the plains would be a cesspool. Grass would die, and herds would starve. But you're not safe. Either pesticides from cattle dips kill your kind, and changing rains mess with your breeding. You're small, but your loss would ripple. A reminder that even the tiniest players matter. These creatures, cheetah, vulture, beetle, aren't the Serengeti's stars, but they're its glue. The cheetah's speed shapes prey behavior. Vultures keep the land clean. Beetles feed the soil. Together, they weave a web where every strand counts. The Serengeti's not just about the big names. It's about the small, the overlooked, the ones who keep the engine running. And as the sun rises again, you feel it. This place is alive, fragile, and fighting to stay that way. The Serengeti's dawn is a quiet rebellion, the sky blushing pink as the first rays pierce the haze. The wildebeest herd stirs, their grunts, a low hum against the rustle of grass. A cheetah licks her cubs in the shade, her eyes wary for hyenas. Vultures perch on an acacia, waiting for death to call. A dung beetle rolls its prize, oblivious to the lion's distant roar. You're no longer a single creature, no longer bound to one role in this endless drama. Now, you're the Serengeti itself, a living, breathing entity, feeling every hoof, every claw, every drop of rainore, the lack of it. This is your story, and it's one of beauty, struggle, and a fight to endure. Feel the weight of your existence. 12,000 square miles of plains, woodlands, and rivers carved by millions of years of wind and water. Your heart is the great migration, the pulse of 1.5 million wildebeests chasing rain, feeding your predators, fertilizing your soils. Your breath is the wind, carrying the scent of acacia blooms and the dust of trampled earth. Your veins are the Mara and Grumeti rivers, where crocodiles lurk and storks wade. You're home to 70 mammal species, 500 bird species, countless insects, a tapestry of life woven so tightly that a single broken thread could unravel it all. But you're not as strong as you seem. You're hurting, and the scars are deepening. Let's start with the drought, your oldest enemy. The rains should come twice a year, short rains in November, long rains in March, but they're late again, or worse, they don't come at all. The grass withers, turning brittle under hooves. Your rivers shrink to muddy trickles, forcing wildebeests to crowd watering holes where lions and crocs wait. You've seen this before. Your memory holds centuries of dry spells, but this is different. Climate change, a human-made storm, is twisting your seasons. Scientists say East Africa's rains are 15% less reliable than 50 years ago. When the grass fails, wildebeests starve. 100,000 died in the 1993 drought, their bones bleaching your plains. Predators followed, hyenas and cheetahs growing gaunt, cubs too weak to stand. You feel the ripple. Fewer wildebeests mean less dung. For beetles, fewer carcasses. For vultures, thinner herds. For Maasai cattle, your soil cracks, your wetlands dry, and storks find no frogs to eat. Your resilient tuve survived megadroughts before, but each one chips away at your strength. And humans aren't helping. Their farms creep closer, fencing your edges, diverting your rivers for crops. A single dam upstream can choke a waterway, killing fish, stranding hippos, and leaving your marshes barren. You're not just fighting nature now. You're fighting a world that's forgotten how to listen. Asterisk. Then there's poaching, a wound that bleeds you dry. Your rhinos are nearly gone, fewer than 30 left in the Serengeti, hunted for horns worth $60,000 a pound. Elephants fare better, but not by much. 1,500 remain, down 70% since the 1970s. Poachers come at night, their guns silenced, their greed louder than any lion's roar. You've felt the tremors of an elephant falling, its tusks hacked off while it still breathes. The herd mourns, circling the body, their trumpets a dirge that shakes your core. Poaching isn't just theft, it's erasure. Rhinos shape your grasslands. Grazing paths for antelope, elephants, clear forests, creating space for grazers. Lose them, and your balance tips, a domino fall you can't stop. Humans are your biggest challenge, and not just the poachers. Tourists flood your plains, their jeeps carving ruts, their lodges guzzling water that should feed your rivers. You love their AUK cameras clicking at your lions, gasps at your cheetah's butt, their footprints heavy. A single lodge can use 500 gallons a day, enough to sustain a Maasai income for a month. Farms and ranches encroach, fragmenting migration. Roots, wildebeests, need open corridors, but fences block their paths, trapping them in overgrazed patches. Your human children, the Maasai, fight for grazing rights, but governments prioritize parks and profits. You're a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a global treasure, but that label doesn't fill empty rivers or stop bullets. Yet you're not alone in this fight. Across your plains, hands are working to heal you. Conservationists, Maasai, scientists, even tourists there, your allies, flawed but trying. Picture this. A ranger patrols your borders, his boots crunching gravel, eyes scanning for snares. He's Maasai, trained by groups like the Serengeti Watch, part of a network that's cut poaching by 40% in a decade. He knows your rhythms. When elephants migrate, where rhinos hide, and he risks his life to guard them. Last week, he found a snare, its wire cruelly tight, and freed a zebra before it bled out. His radio crackles, linking him to drones that spot poachers from the sky. It's not enough, but it's a start. Then there's the research, a quiet army of minds mapping your pulse. Scientists from the Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute track your wildebeests with GPS collars, learning their routes to protect corridors. They've found that 80% of your migration paths cross human lands, farms, villages, roads. So they're working with communities, building wildlife-friendly fences, digging wells to keep cattle from your rivers. One project, the Serengeti Biodiversity Program, plants trees to restore wetlands, bringing back storks and frogs. They've reintroduced 10 rhinos, each one a small victory. Though guards watch them 24/7, you feel their steps, tentative but growing bolder, a promise of balance returning. The Maasai are your heartbeat, their knowledge a lifeline. Picture a council meeting under an acacia, elders in red robes debating grazing plans. They've joined conservation trusts, leasing land for wildlife instead of farming. It's controversial, some call it selling out, but it's kept 1.5 million acres open for wildebeests. They teach rangers which plants heal where leopards hunt, their wisdom sharper than any satellite. Women, too, are rising, leading patrols, weaving baskets for tourist markets, their voices stronger than ever. You're proud, but you worry. If their cattle starve, they'll turn to crops, and your grasslands will shrink. Tourists for all their flaws, are part of the solution. Ecolodges, the good ones, fund schools and clinics, easing pressure on your land. Visitors pay $60 a day to enter your parks, money that trains rangers, buys anti-poaching gear. Some join citizen science treks, counting cheetahs or mapping vulture nests. They're clumsy, snapping selfies while missing your subtleties, but their dollars matter. Last year, tourism brought $2 billion to Tanzania, a chunk of it flowing to your protection. It's a fragile pact to many jeeps, and you suffer. Too few, and the money dries up. You're fighting, but the odds are steep. Climate models predict 30% less rain by 2050, pushing your herds to the brink. Poaching syndicates are smarter, using night vision goggles and bribes. Human populations are booming. Tanzania's doubled since 1990, crowding your edges. Scientists warn you could lose 50% of your species by 2100 if trends hold. But you've faced extinction events before volcanic eruptions, ice ages, and you're still here. Your wildebeests run, your cheetahs sprint, your vultures soar. The Maasai sing, their fires lighting your nights. Every effort, from a ranger's patrol to a tourist's fee, is a thread in your tapestry, holding you together as noon burns. You feel the Serengeti's pulse, weaker but stubborn. A wildebeest calf stands, shaky but alive. A vulture cleans a carcass, keeping disease at bay. A Maasai girl herds goats, dreaming of college. You're not just a place, you're a story, written in blood, dust, and hope. The fight's not over, and neither are you. The Serengeti's midday sun hammers down, turning the plains into a shimmering furnace. Wildebeests plod through the haze, their heads low, seeking shade that barely exists. A cheetah pants under an acacia, her cubs nuzzling close. Vultures ride thermals, their shadows flickering over the grass. A Maasai herder hums, guiding his cattle past a dung beetle rolling its treasure. You're still the Serengeti, a vast ancient consciousness, your pulse thrumming through every root and claw. But now, let's rewind deep into your past, too. The forces that birthed you and the creatures who've shaped your story. This is your origin, a tale written in stone, fire, and survival. Feel your beginnings, millions of years ago, when the earth itself was restless. You were born in the Great Rift Valley, a massive tear in the continent's crust, where tectonic plates pulled apart like a slow cosmic divorce. Volcanoes erupted, spewing ash that enriched your soils, creating grasslands that would one day feed the world's greatest herds. And Ngorongoro, your crown jewel, was a volcano taller than Kilimanjaro until it collapsed 2 million years ago, forming a caldera that cradles life like a green bowl. Your rivers, the Mara and Grumeti, carved their paths through this chaos, fed by rains that fell when the planet was young. You're not just land, you're a geological epic, sculpted by fire and time. Your soils are your secret weapon, rich with volcanic ash and minerals that make your grasses a superfood. Blue wildebeests, your signature species, evolved to exploit this bounty. Their wide muzzles perfect for cropping tough blades. Fossils tell the story. 3 million years ago, your plains were home to their ancestors, stocky grazers, dodging saber-toothed cats. Those cats are gone, but their legacy lives in your lions, whose bone-crushing jaws echo a predator's ancient design. You've watched species rise and fall, from giant rhinos to early hominids, each leaving a mark on your bones. You're a living museum, every layer of Earth, a chapter in evolution's book. Let's focus on your wildebeests, because they're your heartbeat. Picture their ancestors, smaller, scrappier, roaming your plains when ice ages gripped the globe. They learned to migrate, following rains, in a loop that's now 1,800 miles long. Natural selection was brutal. The slow died, the weak starved, the lost became lunch. Over millennia, they became the blue wildebeest, built for endurance. Their lungs and legs tuned for marathons. Their herds grew massive, a strategy to overwhelm predators. You feel their hooves, millions strong, pounding your skin, churning soil that feeds your grasses. They're not just animals, they're architects, shaping you as much as you shape them. Now, consider your predators, molded by your unforgiving rules. Lions, your kings, trace their lineage to Miocene carnivores, evolving social prides to tackle big prey like buffalo. Their roars, reaching 114 decibels, are a trick from the past, designed to scare rivals across vast plains. Cheetahs, your sprinters, took a different path. Fossils show their ancestors were bulkier, but you favored speed, thinning their frames, enlarging their lungs. 1,000,000 years ago, a bottleneck nearly wiped them out, leaving their genes so similar they're like siblings. You've tested them relentlessly. Only the fastest survive your gauntlet of thorns and hyenas. Hyenas, your dark knights, are a masterclass in adaptation. They split from mongooses 30 million years ago, evolving into bone crushers with stomachs that digest rot. Their clans, led by females, bulked up by testosterone, are a social experiment you've run for eons. They're not just scavengers. They hunt 60% of their food, outsmarting lions with teamwork. You've seen them steal kills, dodge claws, raise pups in dens older than human cities. Their whoops, carrying 5 miles, are your night's soundtrack, a language born when your plains were new. Your birds, like the white stork, are skyborn survivors. Storks evolved 50 million years ago, their long legs and beaks perfect for wading your marshes. Migration was their answer to your seasons fly or die. You've guided them across deserts and seas, your thermals lifting their wings. But you've also culled them. Storms, droughts, and predators take thousands yearly. Vultures, your cleaners, go back further. Their bald heads, a 20-million-year-old trick to stay clean in carcasses. You've made them soar, their eyes spotting death from miles. But you're hard on them too. Poison and hunger are thinning their flocks. Even your smallest creatures, like dung beetles, are products of your forge. Scarabs appeared 100 million years ago when dinosaurs roamed. They learned to roll dung, a trick that fed your soils while dinosaurs fell. You've honed their navigation, using the sun and stars to guide them. They're tiny, but they move. 1,000 tons of dung daily, keeping your grasses alive. You've thrown floods and heated them, but they roll on, proof that size doesn't measure impact. Every beetle's ball is a seed, planting life in your skin. Your past isn't just biology, it's a clash of forces. Ice ages cooled your plains, forcing species to adapt or vanish. Wet periods swelled your rivers, birthing wetlands where storks thrived. Volcanoes buried your grasses in ash, only for rains to coax them back. You've hosted early humans, like Homo habilis, who napped tools on your shores 2 million years ago. They hunted your antelope, dodged your lions, and left bones that whisper of their time. The Maasai, your modern stewards, arrived centuries ago, their cattle grazing where hominids once walked. You've shaped them too, teaching them to read your signs, to live with your wild. But your past is also a warning. You've seen mass extinctions megafauna, like giant warthogs, wiped out when climates shifted. You survived because your web was strong, species balancing each other. Now that web's fraying, humans, your cleverest children, are breaking the rules. Their farms choke your rivers, their roads split your herds. Climates warming faster than any ice age, drying your wetlands. Poachers steal your rhinos, their horns a cruel currency. You've endured for millions of years, but this is a new test, one that demands more than evolution's slow hand. Yet your past gives hope. You've rebuilt after catastrophe. When volcanoes buried your plains, grasses returned tougher than before. When droughts starved your herds, survivors adapted, their genes sharper. The Maasai learned to herd in your chaos, their songs praising your resilience. Scientists now dig your fossils, piecing together your story to save your future. Plant acacias, guard your rhinos, map your migrations. You feel their efforts, small but growing, like raindrops before a storm. Your wildebeests still run, your lions still roar, your beetles still roll. You're not done yet. As the sun climbs, you pulse with memory and fight. A wildebeest calf bolts, dodging a leopard. A vulture cleans a bone, keeping your plains pure. A Maasai elder teaches his son to track, passing your wisdom. You're a crucible, forging life in fire and dust. And your stories still being written, one hoof, one wing, one spear at a time. The Serengeti's afternoon is a golden haze, the sun softening as clouds drift like ghosts across the sky. Plod through the grass, their calves wobbling but stubborn. A cheetah yawns, her spots glowing in the light, while vultures wheel above, patient as ever. A dung beetle vanishes into the soil, its work unseen but vital. A Maasai herder leans on his spear, his silhouette sharp against the horizon. You're still the Serengeti, a timeless force, your breath in the wind, your heartbeat in the hooves. But now, let's shift to your soul, not just your ecology, but your place in the human imagination, your myths, your songs, your status as a global icon. This is your cultural story, woven by those who've lived with you and those who dream of you. Feel your presence in the hearts of the Maasai, your oldest storytellers. To them, you're not just land, you're Enkai, the divine force that births rain, grass, and life. Picture a firelit Enkong at night, the air thick with smoke and the scent of roasted goat. An elder stands, his voice deep, chanting a tale of how Enkai sent cattle from the sky, a gift to the Maasai, binding them to you forever. Children listen, wide-eyed, as he describes the lion who stole the sun, only to be outwitted by a clever herder. These aren't just stories, they're your blueprint, teaching respect for lions, endurance like wildebeests, vigilance like storks. Every creature has a role, a lesson, a spark of Enkai's will. Your myths shape Maasai life. Young warriors, Moran prove their courage by facing lions, not to kill, but to drive them off. a rite echoing your balance of strength and restraint. Women weave your colors, red for blood, green for grass, into beads that tell their stories. A dance, the adumu, mimics your rhythms, warriors leaping like gazelles, their feet drumming your earth. These traditions aren't frozen, they evolve. A Maasai girl, now a ranger, wears her beads with a radio, guarding your rhinos while singing old songs. You're in her voice, her steps, her fight to keep you alive beyond the Maasai. You're a muse for all of Tanzania and Kenya. Picture a Dar es Salaam market, vibrant with chatter, where a painter sells canvases of your lions, their manes bold against a sunset. In Nairobi, a poet reads at a cafe, her words tracing your rivers, calling you Africa's beating heart. Your name, Serengeti, comes from the Maasai word Serengeti, meaning endless plains, a nod to your vastness. School kids learn it early, reciting your species' lion, cheetah, elephant-like, a roll call of heroes. You're not just geography, you're identity, a source of pride in nations forging their futures. Globally, you're a legend, a shorthand for wilderness itself. Think of a New York apartment, a TV flickering with a documentary, your wildebeests thundering across the screen. A London classroom where kids draw your cheetahs, their crayons capturing your speed. You're the backdrop of countless films, from The Lion King's pride rock-modeled on your copy stew gritty nature shows, narrated by voices like Attenborough's. Your migrations, a bucket list dream, drawing 350,000 tourists a year, their cameras chasing your drama. On X, hashtag Serengeti, trends with selfies and sunsets, but also with pleas to save you from poaching and climate change. You're a paradox, a place everyone knows, yet few truly understand. Your cultural pull isn't new. Centuries ago, Arab traders crossed your edges, their journals noting plains teeming with beasts. European explorers in the 1800s, like Speke and Burton, wrote of your savage beauty, their words sparking colonial dreams. By the 20th century, you were a safari mecca, luring adventurers like Hemingway, who hunted your lions and romanticized your wildness. Their stories painted you as untamed, a myth that lingers but oversimplifies. You're not a playground. You're a system, fragile and fierce, where every hunt, every drought, every birth matters. Let's zoom in on your modern role, because you're more than a postcard. Picture a conservation conference in Arusha, scientists and Maasai debating your future. You're a case study, a lab for balancing wildlife and human needs. The Serengeti National Park, established in 1951, spans 5,700 square miles, a fortress for your species. But it's not a bubble. Maasai were displaced to create it. Their grazing lands shrunk, a wound still raw. Today, they're partners, their knowledge guiding policies. A Maasai elder advises on fire management, burning grass to spark growth, a trick you taught them millennia ago. You're not just protected, you're a model for coexistence. Your global fame fuels action. Conservation groups like the Frankfurt Zoological Society fund anti-poaching patrols. Their $2 million annual budget, saving 100 rhinos since 2010. Citizen scientists, tourists with apps, log your cheetahs, their data shaping protection zones. Schools worldwide raise funds for your vultures, once ignored, now seen as vital. But fame cuts both ways. Tourists litter your trails, their plastic choking your tortoises. Influencers chase viral shots, stressing your leopards. You need their love, but you crave their respect. Fewer jeeps, more listening. You're also a spiritual anchor. For the Maasai, you're Inkai's gift, a sacred trust. For others, you're a secular cathedral, a place to feel small yet connected. Picture a tourist, jet-lagged, standing on your plains as wildebeests surge. Her phone's off, her heart full, sensing your vastness. She posts about it later, but in that moment, you're not content. Your truth, a reminder that life persists despite chaos. Scientists feel it too, their charts and collars hiding a quiet awe. You're not just data. You're a story that humbles, inspires, demands retelling. Your myths evolve with the times. A Maasai rapper in Dar es Salaam spits rhymes about your elephants, blending tradition with trap beats. A Kenyan artist carves your storks from wood, her work shown in Berlin galleries. On X, activists share your struggles. Their hashtags #Save Serengeti, #Stop Poaching, spreading your cause. You're a rallying cry, uniting strangers across continents. But myths need action. Poaching kills 50 elephants a year. Drought starves 10% of your wildebeests. Your story's power lies in moving hearts. 2 hands donations, votes, choices that keep your rivers flowing. You're not just a place. You're a mirror. You reflect humanity's best and worst, our awe at your beauty, our greed that scars you. The Maasai see their ancestors in your stars. Tourists see adventure. Scientists see systems, but all see something worth saving. Your cultural weight, from ancient chants to viral posts, binds them to you. As evening falls, a Maasai girl sings, her voice carrying your name. A vulture settles, a cheetah hunts, a wildebeest runs. You're their stage, their song, their fight. And you're still singing? The Serengeti's evening unfurls a soft twilight, washing the plains in purples and golds. Wildebeests huddle closer, their calves tucked against dusty flanks. Through the grass, eyes glinting with purpose. Vultures roost in skeletal acacias, their wings folded like cloaks. A dung beetle's ball rolls to rest, a tiny monument to persistence. A Maasai herder drives his cattle home, his song weaving through the cooling air. You're still the Serengeti, your essence pulsing in every breath, every step, every life. But now, let's look forward to your future, a horizon of hope and peril, where the stakes are nothing less than your survival. This is your tomorrow, fragile, fierce, and still unwritten. Feel your heartbeat, steady but strained. You're a miracle, sustaining millions of lives across millennia, from wildebeest to beetles to humans. Your grasslands feed the largest land migration on Earth. Your rivers quench lions and storks. Your skies lift vultures and dreams. But you're at a crossroads. Climate change, human sprawl, and greed are tightening their grip. Scientists warn that without action, you could lose half your species by 2100. Your wildebeests might dwindle. Your rhinos vanish. Your rivers dry to dust. Yet you're not done fighting, and neither are those who love you. Your future hinges on their choices, their courage, and the stubborn resilience you've bred into every creature. Let's start with the climate, your greatest threat. Picture your plains in 2050, the sun harsher, the rain's scarcer. Models predict East Africa's rainfall could drop 30%, turning your grasses to straw. Wildebeests, your lifeblood, need 10 pounds of grass daily. Without it, their herds could crash, starving. Lions and hyenas, your wetlands, where storks feast, are already shrinking 20% gone since 1990. Rising temperatures push cheetahs to their limits. Their sprints riskier as heat stroke looms. You've survived droughts before, but this is faster. A human-fueled fire burning through your cycles. Carbon emissions far from your plains choke your skies, and you feel the weight in every parched riverbed. Humans are your paradoxier wound and your salve. Picture a sprawling farm on your edge, maize fields replacing grass, fences blocking wildebeest paths. Tanzania's population has doubled since 1990, pushing towns closer, their lights drowning your stars. Roads slice your migration routes, killing 1,000 wildebeests yearly in collisions. Poaching remains a blade in your side. 50 elephants fall annually, their tusks smuggled to distant markets. Tourism, your economic lifeline, strains you to 500,000 visitors a year. Leave trash, drain water, stress your leopards. Yet humans also fight for you, their hands planting seeds, their voices shouting your name. Conservation is your strongest hope. Picture a ranger station at dawn, Maasai and scientists plotting patrols. The Serengeti Conservation Program, backed by groups like WWF, has cut poaching by 50% since 2000, saving 200 rhinos and 1,000 elephants. Drones hum overhead, spotting snares before they tighten. Rangers, often Maasai, use your ancient trails, their knowledge sharper than any tech. A woman named Nasarian found a poacher's camp last month. Her radio call saving a rhino calf. She's your daughter, her spear swapped for a badge, her resolve as fierce as any lion's. These efforts aren't cheap, $10 million a year, but they're your lifeline. Every dollar a stitch in your wounds. The Maasai are your future's backbone. Picture an Inkang, elders and youth debating land leases. Community conservancies, like the Mara North Conservancy, pay Maasai to keep 2 million acres open for wildlife, not crops. Its working wildebeest numbers are stable. Lion pride's growing. Women lead too, like Joyce, who runs a beading co-op, her earnings funding schools instead of fences. But it's tense. Some Maasai resent restrictions, their cattle banned from parks. Others embrace the balance, teaching kids to track cheetahs, not kill them. Their wisdom knowing when rains come, where elephants roams your map. Guiding projects that save your wetlands and grasses. Technology is your ally, though it feels foreign. Picture a lab in Arusha, scientists analyzing GPS data from collared wildebeests. They've mapped 80% of your migration, convincing governments to protect corridors. Drones monitor vulture nests, their numbers up 10% since bans on carcass poisons. Solar pumps fill Maasai wells, keeping cattle from your rivers. Apps let tourists log sightings, building databases that steer jeeps away from cheetah dens. It's not perfect tech, fails in your storms. And data can't replace instinct, but it buys time, letting your creatures adapt as you've taught them. Your animals carry hope too. Wildebeests, your tireless runners, are evolving shorter migrations, some staying put to graze new patches. Cheetahs hunt earlier, dodging midday heat. Vultures shift to new roosts, avoiding turbines. Dung beetles breed faster, their eggs hatching before droughts hit. You've shaped them for millions of years, and they're not giving up. A lion cub, born last week, stumbles but stands, its roar a promise. A stork, tagged in Germany, lands in your marsh, defying storms. These small victories, multiplied across your plains, are your strength, proof that life clings hard. Globally, you're a rallying cry. Picture a London classroom, kids fundraising for your rhinos, their pennies adding up. On X, hashtag Save Serengeti trends, activists sharing your droughts, pushing for climate laws. Documentaries stream their footage of your sunsets, sparking donations, $5 million last year to anti-poaching. But hope needs action. Tourists must tread lighter, choosing ecolodges, not resorts. Governments must prioritize your rivers over dams. Individuals scrolling in New York or Nairobi must cut carbon, vote green, amplify your voice. You're not a distant park. You're Earth's pulse, and saving you saves the world. Your future isn't certain, but it's not bleak. Picture 2030, your rains steadier, thanks to global climate deals. Wildebeests run, their herds strong, feeding lions and beetles. Maasai youth, trained as vets, heal your elephants. Tourists, fewer but wiser, walk your trails, their fees funding schools. Poachers dwindle, deterred by drones and rangers. Your rhinos, now 50, graze openly, their calves a quiet triumph. Scientists and Maasai, side by side, plant acacias, their roots holding your soil. You're not whole, but you're healing. Your scars, proof of your fight. As night falls, you glow with possibility. A cheetah sprints, her cubs safe. A vulture cleans a bone, disease at bay. A Maasai girl dreams, her pencil sketching your lions. You're more than a placeure, a promise, a challenge, a story of life refusing to fade. Every creature, every human, every choice shapes your tomorrow. The Serengeti endures, and so will you. One sunrise, one song, one step at a time. The Serengeti's night is a deep, star-strewn embrace, the air cool and alive with whispers of grass. Wildebeests rest, their silhouettes blending into the dark, calves pressed close. A cheetah's eyes gleam as she guards her cubs, alert for hyenas. Vultures huddle in acacias, their silhouettes like sentinels. A dung beetle's work pauses, its ball a silent offering to the soil. A Maasai fire flickers, its glow dancing with songs of ancestors and hope. You're still the Serengeti, your essence woven through every breath, every struggle, every spark of life. Now, let's reflect on what you teach us, not just about survival, but about humanity, connection, and the resilience that binds us to you and to each other. This is your lesson, a mirror held up to the world. Feel your wisdom, ancient and urgent. You're more than a wilderness. You're a teacher. Your plains a classroom where life's hardest truths are laid bare. You've watched wildebeests run for millennia, their hooves carving paths through chaos. You've seen cheetahs sprint, vultures soar, Maasai endure. Every creature, from the lion's roar to the beetle's roll, carries a lesson. Survival demands grit, balance, and a willingness to adapt. But your deepest teaching isn't for them, it's for us, the humans who marvel at you, exploit you, fight for you. You show us what it means to live, to connect, to persist when the odds stack high. Let's start with resilience. your loudest sermon. Picture a wildebeest, battered from a river crossing, its flank scarred by crocodile teeth, yet still running with the herd. Or a cheetah, her kill stolen, sprinting again at dawn, undeterred. You've forged them in fire, teaching that failure isn't the end, it's fuel. Humans need this now, more than ever. In cities far from your plains, people face their own rivers, loss, doubt, change. Your wildebeests don't pause to sulk. They move. Your lesson is clear. Keep going, scars and all. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about carrying it forward, one step, one breath, one sunrise at a time. Connection is your next truth. You're a web, every thread vital. A wildebeest's dung feeds beetles, whose tunnels grow grass, which feeds antelope, hunted by lions, cleaned by vultures. Remove one, and the web frays. The Maasai know this, their cattle grazing alongside your herds. Humans forget this too often, building walls, literal and not between themselves, their neighbors, their planet. You show us we're not separate. A farmer in Iowa, a coder in Seoul, a herder in your plains. Their choices ripple, touching your rivers, your storks, your future. You whisper, we're bound, not by borders, but by the air we breathe, the earth we share. Adaptation is your third lesson, etched in your bones. Picture your cheetahs, once bulkier, now sleek, molded by your demand for speed. Or the Maasai, blending spears with smartphones, herding with conservation. You've never stood stillest. Ages, volcanoes, droughts reshaped you, and you reshaped your creatures. Humans resist change, clinging to old ways while the world shifts. Climate's warming, cities sprawl, yet some deny or delay. You don't negotiate with reality. You evolve. Your lesson is stark. Adapt or fade. Embrace the new solar panels, green laws, shared lands, or risk a world where your plains are dust. Humility is your quietest but sharpest teaching. Stand on your copies, and a human feels small, a speck under your endless sky. Don't boast. Your lions don't strut. They act driven by need, not ego. Humans, with their skyscrapers and screens, often forget this. They call you wild, as if they've tamed the world. But your droughts humble presidents. Your migrations outlast empires. You remind us we're not masters, but guests, part of a system bigger than our ambitions. The Maasai bow to Enkai, not out of fear, but awe. You ask the same. Look up, listen, learn. Your lessons aren't abstract, they're lived. Picture a Maasai girl, Lankanua, herding goats while studying math on a cracked phone. She's resilience, rising at 4 a.m. to walk 10 miles to school. She's connection, teaching her brothers to spot cheetah tracks, linking her Inkang to your future. She's adaptation, dreaming of college, blending her father's songs with apps that predict rain. She's humility, praying to Enkai under your stars, knowing her life depends on your balance. Lankanua is your student, and through her you speak to the world. Live fiercely, love widely, change bravely, stay small. Globally, your lessons echo. In a Tokyo office, a worker, burned out, sees your wildebeests on a screen and rethinks grind culture. Maybe endurance, not speed, is the goal. In a Delhi classroom, kids debate your droughts, pushing for climate laws, learning connections, power. In a Chicago lab, a scientist maps your migrations, adapting tech to save your rhinos, humbled by your complexity. On X hashtag Serengeti lessons, trends, posts urging less waste, more care. Your resilience, inspiring a tired world. You're not just a place, you're a mindset, a call to live better together. But your lessons come with a warning. Ignore them and you suffer. Picture your plains in 2100, grasses gone, rivers dry, wildebeests a memory. Humans, chasing profit, could break your web farming your wetlands, damming your rivers, poaching your elephants. The Maasai might leave, their songs silenced. Storks might vanish, vultures crash, cheetahs fade. You've seen species die before, but this could be your end, and humanity's too. Your air cleans their lungs, your migrations feed their awe, your balance holds their future. Lose you, and the world loses a piece of itself. Yet you offer hope, a path forward. Picture a future where your lessons take root. Cities cut carbon, inspired by your droughts, saving your rains. Farmers share land, learning from your Maasai, keeping your herds free. Scientists and herders unite their tech and wisdom, restoring your wetlands. Tourists tread lightly, their fees funding your rangers. Every choice less plastic, more trees, louder voices strengthens you. Your wildebeests run, your lions roar, your beetles roll, and humanity, humbled, adapts, connects, endures. You're not just teaching survival, you're teaching life. As dawn nears, you glow with purpose. A wildebeest calf leaps, testing its legs. A cheetah nuzzles her cub, teaching it to hunt. A Maasai boy carves a stork from wood, dreaming of flight. You're their teacher, their home, their hope. Your lessons, resilience, connection, adaptation, humility are universal, written in your dust, sung in your winds. They're not just for the Serengeti, they're for every heart beating under your stars, every soul seeking a way to thrive in a wild, fragile world. The Serengeti's dawn creeps in, a gentle fire igniting the horizon, painting the plains in hues of amber and rose. Wildebeests stir their grunts, a soft chorus as they begin another day's march. A cheetah stretches, her cubs tumbling playfully at her side, unaware of the hunt ahead. Vultures take flight, their wings slicing the cool air, scouting for breakfast. A dung beetle resumes its endless role, sculpting life from waste. A Maasai herder kneels by his fire, whispering thanks to Enkai as his cattle low. You're still the Serengeti, your spirit pulsing through every leaf, every claw, every human heart that calls you home. Now, let's bring this journey home to us, to you, to the personal impact of your story and the urgent call to keep you alive. This is your legacy, a reflection on why you matter and what we must do. Feel your pull, not just as a place, but as a force that reshapes us. You're not a distant wilderness, a postcard pinned to a dreamer's wall. You're a mirror showing us who we are, what we're capable of, and what we risk losing. You've carried us through your plains, from the wildebeest's desperate sprint to the cheetah's fleeting glory, from the Maasai's ancient songs to the vulture's silent service. Each story, every hoofbeat, every roar, every spear has woven itself into us, stirring something deep, awe, responsibility, a longing to belong to something greater. You're not just out there, you're in here, in our choices, our hopes, our fight for a world that endures. Let's make this personal. Picture yourself Wherever you are, sprawled on a couch in Chicago, sipping tea in Mumbai, scrolling in a Tokyo subway. Your day's been routine, work, texts, maybe a quick X-post about coffee or traffic. Then you see the Serengeti, maybe in this video, maybe in a fleeting clip of wildebeests thundering, or a Maasai warrior's dance. Something shifts. Your screen's glow fades, and you're there, smelling the dust, hearing the lions roar, feeling the vastness that makes your worries small. You're not just watching, you're connected, part of a web that stretches from your fingertips to the plains 10,000 miles away. That's your power, Serengeti. You make us feel alive, tethered to a world we too often ignore. Your stories hit close. The wildebeest, running despite exhaustion, is you pushing through a brutal week, finding strength you didn't know you had. The cheetah, sprinting only to lose her kill, is every time you've failed but tried again, grit outweighing defeat. The Maasai herder, balancing tradition and change, is your struggle to honor your roots while chasing a future. The vulture, cleaning what others shun, is the quiet work, nursing, teaching, fixing, that holds life together. You show us we're not so different, all of us, fighting, adapting, surviving in our own wilds. Your plains are our offices, our homes, our hearts, each a battlefield where resilience wins. But your impact isn't just emotionally, it's practical, urgent. You're a lifeline for humanity, even for those who'll never see you. Your grasses trap carbon, cooling a planet choking on fumes. Your rivers feed the Indian Ocean, sustaining fish that feed millions. Your migrations inspire art, science, faith, reminding us why we create, discover, believe. Lose you, and we lose more than animals. We lose a piece of our soul, a spark that lights our best selves. Scientists say ecosystems like yours support 50% of global GDP, $44 trillion a year through clean air, water, food. You're not a luxury. You're a necessity, as vital as the phone in your hand or the roof over your head. Your call to action is clear, and it starts now. Picture yourself, not as a bystander, but as a guardian. You don't need a spear or a ranger's badge. You have power in your choices. Cut your carbon swap, one car trip for a bike ride, one burger for beans. It adds up, easing the droughts that starve your wildebeests. Support conservation. Donate $5 to groups like Serengeti Watch or WWF, funding patrols that save your rhinos. Last year, 10,000 small donations kept 500 elephants alive. Travel smart if you visit. Choose eco-lodges, not resorts. Their profits training Maasai rangers. Share your story. Post about your lions, your storks, your lessons. Using hashtag #SaveSerengeti to amplify the fight. Your future depends on us, but it's not a solo mission. Picture a network, global and growing. A Maasai woman, Nasarian, patrols your borders, her radio buzzing with poacher alerts. A scientist in Berlin maps your wetlands, her data saving storks. A kid in Lagos draws your cheetahs, her art raising funds. You, wherever you are, join them. Vote for leaders who prioritize green laws. Last year's climate bill in Kenya protected 1 million acres of your plains. Boycott products tied to poaching ivory trinkets, bushmeat markets. Every action, from a tweet to a policy, weaves a safety net for your herds, your hunters, your herders. Your fragility is our fragility. If your wildebeests fall, your predators starve, and the Maasai's cattle follow. If your rivers dry, farms fail, and cities thirst. You're a warning. Ignore the web, and we all unravel. But you're also hope. Picture 2040. Your grass is green again, thanks to global carbon cuts. Your rhinos, now 100, roam free, guarded by Maasai youth. Your cheetahs sprint, their cubs thriving in protected zones. Tourists, wiser, walk your trails, their fees building schools. This future isn't a dream, it's a choice, one we make daily. From recycling a bottle to signing a petition, your legacy is personal because you're personal. You're the wildebeest in our grit, the cheetah in our hustle, the Maasai in our roots. You're the vulture cleaning our messes, the stork soaring through our dreams. You've taught us to run, to fight, to adapt, to stay humble under a sky bigger than our egos. As your dawn brightens, a calf bolts, a cub purrs, a herder sings. They're not just yours, they're ours, a shared pulse, tying us to you, to each other, to a planet worth saving. You're not a place we visit. You're a home we protect, a story we carry, a fire we keep burning. The Serengeti's morning blooms, a radiant dawn spilling light across the endless plains, setting the grass ablaze with gold. Wildebeests surge forward, their hooves a steady drumbeat, their calves bounding with new strength. A cheetah's tail flicks as she eyes a distant gazelle, her cubs crouched in silent study. Vultures glide low, their wings whispering of carrion nearby. A dung beetle carves its path, rolling life into the earth. A Maasai herder stands tall, his red shuka catching the breeze, his voice a soft hymn to the rising sun. You're still the Serengeti, your spirit eternal, your pulse unbroken, your story a flame that never fades. This is your finale, a poetic ode to your soul, a celebration of your timeless fire, and a vow to keep you burning bright. Feel your essence, vast and untamed, a symphony of dust and dreams. You are the heartbeat of the world, a rhythm older than stone, fiercer than fire. Your wildebeests run, a river of life defying death's jaws. Your lions roar, their manes a crown forged in battle. Your cheetahs blaze, their speed a lightning bolt across your skin. Your vultures soar, cleansing your wounds with quiet grace. Your beetles roll, stitching your soil with humble threads. Your Maasai sing, their spears and songs weaving you into the stars. You're not a place, you're a force, a pulse, a prayer that hums through every life you touch. See your beauty, painted in moments. Dawn's first light on a wildebeest's horn, glinting like a warrior's blade. A cheetah's eyes, amber flames in the dusk, holding secrets older than words. A stork's wings, slicing clouds, stitching continents with fearless flight. A vulture's shadow, circling slow, turning death to life. A beetle's ball, small but mighty, cradling your future in its curve. A Maasai fire, sparking stories that dance with your winds. You're a canvas, each stroke vivid, each scar a verse in a poem that never ends. Hear your voice, a chorus of the wild. The wildebeest's grunt, raw and relentless, a vow to keep running. The lion's roar, shaking the earth, claiming its throne. The hyena's whoop, sharp and sly, laughing at fate. The stork's clack, a quiet call across oceans. The vulture's hiss, soft but sure, guarding your balance. The beetle's rustle, faint but fierce, singing of soil and survival. The Maasai's chant, rising like smoke, binding your past to your tomorrow. You're a song, sung in claws and hooves, in spears and stars, a melody that lingers in every heart it reaches. Know your wounds, yet stand unbowed. Your rivers falter, choked by human hands. Your rhinos dwindle, their horns a cruel prize. Your grasses thin, scorched by a warming sky. Your wildebeests stumble, fenced by farms. Your cheetahs tire, pressed by loss. Your Maasai fight, there. Lands shrinking under progress's weight. Yet you endure as you have for millions of years, through ice and fire, flood and drought. Your scars are not defeat, they're defiance. Proof that you've faced the dark and found the dawn. Embrace your hope, carried by those who love you. The Maasai warrior, his spear now a pen, writing laws to guard your plains. The scientist, her eyes on a screen, tracking your storks to save their skies. The tourist, her wallet open, funding rangers who shield your lions. The child, her crayon, drawing your cheetahs. Her dreams, a seed for change. The activist, her voice on X, shouting #Save Serengeti to a world that listens. You're not alone, your fight is theirs, a shared vow to keep your rivers flowing, your herds running, your stars bright. Claim your legacy, eternal and fierce. You've taught us to run like wildebeests, relentless through chaos, to hunt like cheetahs, bold despite loss, to soar like storks, fearless across storms, to clean like vultures, humble in service, to build like beetles, small but vital, to live like Maasai, rooted yet rising. You're our mirror, showing us grit, connection, adaptation. You're our fire, warming us when the world grows cold. You're our song, lifting us when hope feels faint. You're our home, calling us to fight for what matters. Make your vow a promise to you, Serengeti. We'll run with your wildebeests, pushing past our fears. We'll sprint with your cheetahs, seizing every chance. We'll soar with your storks, crossing divides to build. We'll clean with your vultures, mending what's broken. We'll roll with your beetles, planting seeds for tomorrow. We'll sing with your Maasai, honoring roots while reaching high. We'll cut our waste, fund your rangers, amplify your cry. We'll vote, act, love, ensuring your plains endure, your lions roar. Your story lives. Picture your tomorrow, vibrant and whole. Wildebeests thunder, their herds unbroken, feeding your lions, your beetles, your earth. Cheetahs sprint, their cubs safe in your shade. Storks return, their wings strong, your marshes full. Vultures circle, your plains clean, your balance restored. Maasai herd, their children schooled, their wisdom guiding your future. Rhinos graze, their numbers rising, your scars fading. This is no dream, it's a future we build, choice by choice, heart by heart. Now and always, as your sun climbs, you shine, eternal. A wildebeest leaps, free and fierce. A cheetah's cubshes its tail, learning your ways. A vulture spreads its wings, claiming your skies. A beetle rolls, sowing your life. A Maasai girl laughs, her eyes on your stars, her dreams, your hope. You're not a moment, not a place, you're forever. A fire in our bones, a song in our souls, a fight in our hands. Serengeti, we see you, we hear you, we're with you. Your dawn is ours, and we'll keep it burning, always. Thank you for watching. If you like the story, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.